this guy is a great Through the Ages player. So we're going to get to watch him play a game. We're going to see what he's thinking, and then we'll become as smart as him. But first, I want to ask him a few interview questions and just get him on the show. So are you there, Allmrak?
I think so.
Oh, so glad you're joining us today. This is going to be so much fun. So, I just want to start
Right.
off with letting you introduce yourself and want to ask you how you first learned about Through the Ages. How did you get into it?
Sure. Well, hello. I might have many of you might have heard me before, but yeah, I am Allmrak is my player name. PlayTTA is where you can find me on YouTube primarily. There's videos there, and Through the Ages came to me through some friends long ago. They played it, and I played my first game on Board Game Online.
You played your
And
first game online, not with an actual
well,
board?
my first TTA game was online, yeah,
That's
at BGO, and
crazy.
because mostly because we, I mean, we weren't the kind of friends that sat around together, so we needed to play async games. So most of my Through the Ages experience is all async, um, from BGO through to the app now. So I played very few in-person games, almost
Oh.
exclusively in an app. So I've not had to manage my tokens much at
That's
all.
really interesting. I kind of like to think of different style games in categories. Like there's area control, there's worker placement, and Through the Ages is a cube management game over the board. I think I
Yeah.
put it in the cube management category. So lucky you, letting the
Right.
app do that for you.
That's right. That's right.
So
Yeah, I
the
mean, sometimes I wonder if it's a disadvantage. I mean, I've heard people talk about going through the management in person to I don't know, learn the mechanics of the game to a
Mhm.
finer detail. Like I don't know if that's really true or not, but people have said it.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. So you've started out in async. Today we're going to play live games. Imagine I'm an async player. I want to try TTA Pulse, which is just live games. There's time pressure. How do I prepare for that? What is that like?
Oh boy. Yeah, I'll say one of my favorite things about Through the Ages is that it scratches my compulsive itch, sort of like it's putting a big puzzle together. And so one of the things that's really satisfying for me is to look at a turn from multiple angles and find the one that clicks the best or fits the best. And that does not work for a live game as
Yeah.
much, especially in Super Blitz.
Yeah, in an
So
async game,
for
you
me,
could spend a day thinking about one move. It's not something you can do in Super Blitz.
yeah, totally. Like often, I go through several different lines on a turn, and then I'll just put it away for a while. And it sort of ruminates in the back of my mind, and then I come back, and it's a little more clear what I want to do. And in Super Blitz, yeah, there's a lot more gut involved for me, so I just have to be more willing to commit to what seems best,
Hmm.
and that's a little uncomfortable for me sometimes. But the more you do it, the better you get. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn, and there's a lot of that.
Nice. So just jump in, go with your gut, and improve over time. And it is so much fun to be under that time pressure. Although the app doesn't
Yeah.
handle running out of time very well, I would rather like be able to add time to the opponent or continue if they run out. Instead, it's like you're dead. It's not great.
Yeah, and you never really know. Like you have 5 minutes, but you really have 4 minutes and 44 seconds or 45 seconds. Because once you get below 15 or 20, you just never know if the server is going to let you make your move or not.
It's scary. All right, so quick
Yeah,
before we start
yeah.
our match, I want to ask a couple quick questions about your opinions on Through the Ages. What card do you think is the most overpowered? And we're talking about two-player here because TTA Pulse is a two-player platform.
Um, Most overpowered. Yeah, I mean, Himeji Castle is always really scary to let go in a two-player game.
Yeah.
You just the rest of the game, you just have to worry about it, and you're the only now your one target is stronger, and you have to keep an eye on it the whole game for them coming at you as well. So
Yeah.
so probably that in a two-player game. But again, one of my favorite things about Through the Ages is that everything is so situational. Given a situation, it could be Himeji or not,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I just love that one situation can render a bunch of cards into a completely different tier just because of what's happened.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm actually in a match right now, async, unfortunately, with Silent, one of the best players from the Chinese scene. And it's in the
Mm-hmm.
finals of Mixed Duel 2. I don't know how I made it that far. And he took Himeji for 3 civil actions. So I don't know what to
Yeah,
think, but I guess he knows what he's doing because he's got the same opinion as you. So, what
yeah,
is your
yeah.
favorite event? I know people talk about leaders and wonders, but events are very interesting. They change the game a lot. Do you have a favorite event?
A favorite event? Wow, that's a great question. Um, so events that so there's a few events that I hold on to, I think,
Mhm.
thinking that they might be fun. I think popularization of science is always really interesting. I mean, it's like an H2 impact, or it can be.
Hmm.
And so holding on to that can be really interesting. I think iconoclasm is really fun. I think I usually
Fun.
hold on to that
It's
card.
horrible. It's a horrible card.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have it, you can sort of plan for the situation. And again, it's situational, but I think it's a fun card to hold on to if you're in
Yeah.
the right situation to try to hit someone with it.
Yeah, for sure. Iconoclasm and
Those two come to
terrorism.
mind,
You
though.
sound like a great guy, an iconoclastic terrorist. So wonderful.
Yeah. Terrorism. I don't know. I don't like
Okay,
that event very much.
good. I'm
That's
glad to
really
hear you
one
don't
of my
like that.
favorites.
So let's jump into the game. Go ahead and share your screen there, and we'll seek for a match on the TTA Pulse
All
platform.
right.
See if this works here. I'm going to click a button, and you're going to click a button. Oh, it looks good.
Yeah. We're all
Wonderful.
clicking buttons.
All right, we're button clicking here,
All
thanks
right.
to the invention. Go ahead.
I'm all logged in. I'm going to click find new match.
All right. So I'm going to let you find a new match. Let me just show the experience. I don't want to get into the game with you, otherwise we'll be really overwhelmed as viewers. But if I can click something here as well, let's see if I have a button.
I can pull my screen in and
Yeah,
share it
why
if you'd
don't you do
like.
that? Because if I click the wrong thing, I'm going to be showing all my passwords. So I have to be very careful.
Something more or less like that, right?
Nice. Okay, so we are currently defeating the creepers. That's awesome. Match found. We are playing.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
this is awesome. Oh,
Weidenbaum.
Weidenbaum is such a good player. This is going to be an epic, epic match. I cannot wait to get started.
All right, we're in first position here.
That's lucky. We actually have control on TTA Pulse to your position. Unfortunately, we just randomized it, but we should probably put you in first position every time.
Probably. All right, well, let's take a look at the game.
All right.
I think
So
I know what I'm going to do already, but
tell us what you see on this Leaders and Wonders screen here.
yeah, so the things I'm looking for. So Suez is in, Ocean Liner's not. So food's going to be more important here. Napoleon is here. There is no Bach. There's no Marlena. Bill Gates and Meyer and Einstein. So labs look pretty good here.
Yeah,
Columbus is here.
three big
Zizka's
lab.
here. We have Columbus, Isabella, and Suez, and Cook. All of them are in.
Okay.
That's kind of interesting.
So you're looking at
So
Cook, you're
given all
looking
of
at
that, though,
Columbus.
and my choices here, I will take the library. I think that's
Given the colony
pretty
play,
good for me.
given the lab play, I'll take the Library of Alexandria.
Yeah, I mean, what else would my choice be? I guess Moses for population to send off to colonize.
Right. What do you prefer between the library and the age-old wonder, the pyramids? Everybody's favorite.
Uh, so yeah, that's a great question. I I mean, the pyramids are great. I mean, objectively, they are really good. But I think they're boring. They just do one thing. They give you a civil action and that's all. And, a civil action is really great, but I don't know. So I usually find other options. So if I'm given the choice of Roman roads or library or Colosseum versus library or versus pyramids, I usually take one of the others. So here, I think I'm going to go with Sun Tzu.
Oh, interesting. You find him
I don't
strong
know. I mean,
in two-player here?
any of these are interesting. I think because we have Zizka and Columbus, and if we're going to be fishing for territories, I think he's a person. You could make a case for Caesar as well because he's going to get an extra card, plus he can hold an extra one for colonization. So really, uh, either way, I'm going to do Sun Tzu just cause.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great fit. It's important when you see Sun Tzu to check for those two leaders, Zizka, because if you get your tactic +1 from Sun Tzu onto Zizka, it is overpowered. And then Columbus, because you can fish out that vast territory. So I want to know, with the vast territory, I was talking with Payada, also known as Pavel, one of the best players as well. He was saying that he loves Columbus with an early vast territory, but then you're playing the rest of age one with no leader. Do you like the vast as fast as you can do it, or do you want to play it right at the end so that you can swap leaders smoothly?
Yeah. Again, it depends on the situation. I tend to look for Columbus as a late age one leader. So I can, if I'm holding a territory, I grab Columbus toward the end and then maybe just hold on for an age two territory if
Mhm.
one should come out.
That makes sense. Well, we've got,
But given the right situation, I would look for him earlier. I would consider doing it earlier.
I see, because the extra yellow tokens are useful. Putting a colony in the deck right away. This is awesome. Plus engineering genius on one civil action.
So I think pretty standard here.
Yep. You're passing on EG1 though, or EGA, I should say.
No, I think I take that too. Not sure there's too much else I would want to do here. I'd like to get another military action at some point.
Yeah, I'm
Let's see.
unfortunately covering your civil and military actions with my beautiful face. So let me see if I can improve that. Guys, is this better? Let me know in the chat if you like this more. You can actually see the screen. That's an upgrade. It's a little bit smaller. That's a downgrade. So let me know if you like that, and we'll get some feedback from the viewers here. We currently have 412 people watching live, so we'll get some
Oh,
feedback.
perfect.
I'm kidding.
So we did get the inhabited, and Jishka did pop out.
Wow. So you've got some great colonies, but just at the same time. So you might go that route instead of Columbus.
Mm. Pierre is also not in the game.
Yeah, that is interesting. So bread and circus is not critical to take there for two civil actions. Weidenbaum may go a different route. That's an early monarchy, though. Are you a fan of early monarchy?
Yeah, I am.
Is that something you might consider then if it drops to one?
I don't know. I mean, if Jishka goes to 2, I'm going to consider that.
Yeah,
Being
for
honest.
sure. And you're a little ways away with five science right now. It's tough to get to eight for monarchy.
Yeah. I have a reasonable tactic, Jishka.
What is your favorite
Start
tactic
with.
with Shishke?
Oh, medieval army. It's
Yeah.
really nice.
When I started with him, I thought that the phalanx was best because he could have two, two, and two, and get two phalanxes. But medieval's way more flexible.
Yeah. So he smartly does keep Jishka on 3, which makes it a tougher decision. That's for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, he's definitely not wanting you to
Um,
get that combined with Sun Tzu. This is a key moment.
yeah. I don't know if I want to put an event in Dark Ages. I hate that event, being honest, also.
It's so weird because you know it's coming and it still wrecks you.
Yeah.
Development of
Did it
religion?
anyway.
It's good. You still put it in. Well, we won't tell the opponent. Maybe it'll wreck him worse.
So
Finish that library. Take monarchy.
maybe we do that.
It'd be perfect if Shishka weren't staring at us.
I know. We're going to have to let him go, I think. I don't think I want to do that. What would it be? Just suppose I could elect him.
You want to put your tactic in first. I've made that way too many times.
Yeah.
Mistake, right? If the tactic's not in,
Yeah.
you lose the +1.
And now I have corruption also, and there's not really anything I can do about it.
Yeah, it's expensive. The only thing I do more often than that is swap Homer out by accident without my wonder
Yeah.
being done. Lose that happy face.
When I guess I could do something about corruption if I didn't build the religion,
Hmm.
but I probably want to take that.
You know, I
So
think
I think I'm gonna.
there should be a big warning if you replace Sun Tzu or Homer and your tactic or your wonder's not finished. It's say you're being stupid. Stop.
Yeah. Um. Let me put that in too. I think. And then yeah, that's fine. That's fine. The thing that for some reason I do when I'm replacing Homer, I I I have a tendency to want to click the wrong button. Like the one that says get your civil action back, I expect it to be the one that says use your
I
happy
know
face.
usually the top choice is the better one. Like, do you want to use urban growth? Yes. Do you want to get
Yeah.
rid of Homer with no benefit and just lose? Yes. Yeah, those do feel backwards. That's a good point. So we got medieval army. Are you wanting to switch or do you like where you are?
Now I have to be careful about the tactic I put in, I think, because Zizka's there.
Great point. When you're playing against Shishka, you've got to play very carefully with your tactics. Don't want to give that to him.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that I should not have put Fighting Band in and just discarded it here, because now he has that for Zizka,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that could be a problem. But time pressure, and he can't copy it yet, so I did it.
That's true. I had a game recently where my opponent had Shishka, and I threw away Phalanx and Medieval Army and Fighting Band and the one with 3 soldiers that I can't remember because I'm not as smart as you.
3 soldiers, Legion. Yeah,
Finally, I drew Heavy Cavalry. Horse, horse, horse. I'm like, this will work. Build 3 horses. He's not going to copy that. All right. Code of Laws. Great tech. How do you feel about it?
yeah. It is. It is a great
You
tech.
like it? All right.
Um,
I'll let you take a moment to think. I don't want to distract you here.
so yeah, cartography is there. So I'm probably fine with cultural influence. I mean, he'll get culture from Jishka, but he did not take his religion either.
Yeah. So keeping inhabited for that Columbus
Yeah, I think
possibility.
so. Or until I feel more confident about committing to the territory plan.
Hmm. Cartography's
Um,
not in hand yet.
yeah, exactly. So St. Pete's is here. Is that interesting? I mean, it's always not bad.
That's a beautiful monarchy. And the extra science from the library, even better.
That's right. So Joan's not too bad here. Who else might I want? I guess Isabella and Columbus are the other things we're thinking about. I don't mind the draws with Sun Tzu. Um, take some cards. Get out of corruption. I could use this wonder to put some resources into it, which could be good.
Yeah, it's a great wonder. It's just so many moves to take it.
So that means I don't get Joan, but Gutenberg stays on. Maybe I'll do this just in case. Keep my options open.
Yeah, Columbus is still out there too. It's interesting when you have all your science going into monarchy, that's not enough science to develop things like iron or alchemy or anything that costs rocks. So I think that makes wonders better because then you have somewhere to put your rocks. What do you think?
Um, yeah, exactly. Like, so if I used my science on monarchy, then I need a place for rocks. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, yeah.
And wonders are a great place for that.
Wonders are great. I still remember losing to the guy who built 6, 7 wonders with Michelangelo. That is so annoying.
Yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
Himeji is also in.
yeah, yeah,
We
some great
talked about
wonders
that in
here.
a two-player game. So maybe we try to wait for that, see if that works out.
And
Machu
now
Picchu's in
Uncertain
as well.
Borders is in hand. That is the most powerful Age 1 event, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't feel super confident playing it here. Again, because he has Zizka.
Yep, you got to
So my
think.
assumption is that he'll be stronger for a while.
You have to think 20 minutes from now who's going to be stronger, and it's not hard to predict
Yeah,
with Jishka on the table. The interesting thing about the event deck, you can look at that and see it's just flipped over. So there's 4 cards now face down. So if you put Uncertain Borders in, it's a long time before that's going to come out.
yep, that's right.
It's interesting. I actually like to put it in when it's about to flip. Then you just feel like you have more
Yeah,
control over the timing.
yeah, exactly.
Interesting. All
Me
right, so
too.
he's keeping his Homer for now, but he's copied the tactic, so he's ready to make his Jishka overpowered.
So he didn't play an event,
He
so he has
didn't.
some concern about the 3 events I put in and whether they're strength. So that's good. We have a little bit of psychological advantage there for a moment, at least.
Yeah, he may just not have one. He only has 2 military cards and didn't draw any this turn.
I will put this strategic in
Oh, this is awesome. Colony game. If you pick up cartography. Oh,
and yeah, that is mine.
I think you
Let's
got
see.
this, right?
Yeah, I'm good. We'll go for that.
The basic bid is one guy, the biggest guy he is, right? Whatever you have the strong most strength from one person, because it costs a lot of food to get rid of him. And then just throw all your
Yeah,
defense cards out there. Why not?
that's right.
And it works.
I was talking to a. Well, let me do this turn first.
Sure. Cartography. This is going to be fun. There may be no more colonies except strategic, which will be a while. So
That's a pretty nice turn, I think.
iron is so nice to get into.
So I'm not getting these leaders, but Isabella's coming up. We have cartography in hand. We can get it next turn. We're leaving this breakthrough.
At
So
least
you
at least he doesn't
could,
get it, right? It does fall off the board.
yeah, could make a case for that, I think. We have an extra civil action, so maybe we can spend it for 2 science and put off iron one turn.
Yeah, I could go either
Yeah,
way on that. I'm not going to tell you what I would do. That'd be cheating.
I'm game for that. I think, let's see, so we'll have 5, so we can grab Isabella next turn if that works out. So I'm going to get rid of those. I think.
Nice.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy that's pretty new at the game, and sort of one of just the very dumb basic rules that you follow until you know better to break it was just only send one unit when you're colonizing a territory. Once you know enough or why you're sending more than one, then consider sending more than one. But until then, only ever send one. That's
Yeah.
sort of just like rule of thumb.
Yeah, that's a great advice because a lot of beginners, they'll make two big mistakes. The first is they'll send too much, and it's so hard to come back from that because then you're weakest and everything's just wrecking you. And then the second thing they do is pick up every cool technology that goes by, fill up their hand with
Yeah,
stuff they can't research. So with those two pieces of advice, only eat what you can take, or the other way around, and then just don't sacrifice your whole army. I mean, your game will go much better.
that's right.
So you picked up cartography and went into colonies. I'm interested in that because the only colony in the deck right now is strategic, which I don't see as a big deal. Is that because Cook is in the game and because Suez Canal is in the game, or why are you emphasizing the colonies?
Yeah, I think you have a great setup for colonies. Isabella, Columbus, Cook, Suez. So you have all of those. I think I lost track of the order. Um, yeah, I have strategic and inhabited, and presumably I'll draw more.
Yeah,
Um,
that can happen.
and it just gives me an advantage on getting those. So I have to make a decision here.
Yeah, Columbus or
Columbus or
Isabella.
Isabella. Isabella could pay off longer, but Columbus gets me into it quicker. This is the time I like Columbus, though. It is the end of age 1, and then hopefully you swap into an age 2 leader pretty quickly.
Exactly. It's perfect timing. And you're about to lose 2 yellows off the bank. So it'd be nice to have a few more. Always nice to have yellows.
That's right.
Isabella gives
That's
that
right.
extra rock, though, and one civil action less to take her.
So I think, well, I might not. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on an event here. How much time do I have? 2 minutes. I don't. I suspect it's not strength, and I mean he actually could have put a strength event in, but I'm gonna go ahead and put an event in just so I know what's happening.
Knowledge of the ancients. Oh, it is
Okay,
Dark
so
Ages.
this is science.
That's
That's not
reasonable.
too.
Very reasonable. All right, we got some flexibility.
So we're gonna lose him next turn. So the extra action for Columbus is fine. Do I want to keep this as the tactic in play? I might not. He doesn't have knights yet, so he'll have to get into it. I'm
Yeah.
not even fulfilling this tactic right now.
Knights is
I don't
really
really want to
annoying.
give him. I don't want to give him an extra strong fighting band. He has his own, I guess, so it's not maybe that big of a deal.
That's
But
interesting.
anyway, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Two fighting bands, but they're
We'll,
different strengths.
we'll let it go and upgrade that a couple of times. Getting cartography. We are weaker now, but we can still defend, so that's not a huge problem. That'll be our turn, I think. Let's see. So engineering genius, you could argue we could take that here over one of the iron upgrades.
Yeah, it depends on whether you want to build an H2 Wonder right away or not.
Yeah. I almost don't mind warfare here too.
No, I do. So that's interesting. Sink 100% of your science into
Um,
one strength. Great idea.
uh, yeah, it's a little early for cartography is the only thing, but that's fine. We'll go with that. We'll get rid of those strength events and close that.
Yeah, that is
So
interesting about the cartography because his card is probably not a colony. What are your thoughts?
yeah, yeah, it's a little early. Again, a little time pressure for me, so I just have to make a decision.
Hmm.
But that was not, for me, not an ideal move. That could have waited a turn. It was too early, and there's maybe something better that could have happened with. Although upgrading iron's good for that. There's something better that could have been done with that action that wasn't cartography,
Hmm.
but I just didn't have time to figure out what it was.
That was very surprising that he had put new deposits into the deck because we saw him avoid seeding earlier. He must have thought your events were dangerous. It turned out none
Yeah.
of those first four events hurt the weaker player.
Yep. Yep. See, I suspected he thought perhaps I had strength events in. So now he's guaranteed. He's guaranteed iron for his Machu Picchu, but I think I'm now guaranteed Himeji Castle as well. So it's kind of a win-win for us.
Yeah, I used to feel bad building that in age two. It's like, isn't this thing too late? But it turns out it doesn't matter when you build it, it's amazing.
Do I need this now?
By the way, I'll
Did
show you a
we?
trick on that. If you drag that event out, you can misclick and seed it by accident. So instead, click on Columbus himself,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
can't mess up like we all do. That's the safer
So
way to do
now,
so.
now I need to slightly worry that he put that strength event in, but at the same time, pushing out strategic's not bad. So I think I'm going to not colonize this yet. I don't think it helps me here enough.
Hmm.
I think maybe I need to look at the turn first.
Yeah, it might be nice to have a yellow token in the worker pool there, which the colony gives you.
I would save an action there, and I would have one more pop, so I could get into phalanx or something. I don't know if I need to develop knight yet. I can do this because I have the pumped up tactic.
Oh
That works
yeah,
as well too. Swordsman, maybe.
I don't want to
Hmm.
distract you. You're in your H2 bank. This is precious time.
Yeah, I might be fine with that. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that.
All right. Found a plan, doesn't require taking the colony right now. The nice side benefit of that is you might draw a powerful age 2 colony for Columbus.
And we'll get rid of this. Now I might keep phalanx here because I already have, well, that's kind of tough because I'm gonna send one away when I win the territory. So maybe, although I will have enough population and phalanx is not as good. Just guess, so maybe I'll keep it. I don't know.
Interesting.
Medieval armory is better, but
Yeah, I
you know,
probably would have gone
kind of
medieval,
decisive.
but the thing I didn't think about was whatever you put in, eventually the opponent will copy, and that's going to work with Shishka really well. So by using
Right,
phalanx, you slow
right.
your opponent down.
It's the hope anyway. So we can pick up Himeji and finish it next turn.
Nice.
That'll
You
be
like that
nice.
over the Louvre, which is also coming down?
Yeah, in this situation, I do. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, one
I
thing
don't
I
want to
go ahead.
go through like the Louvre is good. I'd have to deal with corruption all of age two. It's a little early, and I'm up against Jishka and a potential strength thing happening.
Mhm.
It's giving me two culture also. The castle is, and it just pays off the whole game.
Very true.
I think yeah, I have to take it here.
You do have the blue token from developed territory, so that would help the corruption a
That's
little
true.
bit.
That's true. Yeah.
But the civil actions make a huge difference too. Himeji just being 2 actions to build, very easy to get into that.
I guess for me, I'm still focused on getting a good economy, a good foundation going,
Hmm.
and transferring into the Louvre for culture. To me, seems too early for that. Like an early Louvre is good, but I guess in this game, like I don't have a good leader for age 2 yet. There's a
Hmm.
lot of stuff I need, and that transition into cultures, I guess, doesn't it makes me. It's not something I like to do at this point.
Yeah, it would really put a stop to your engine. You've got a great draw here. You've drawn wealthy territory, fits perfectly with your cartography and colony plan, and another defense card. So it seems like you're going to pick up every colony here. Suez is going to be the way to go.
I hope so. I hope so.
It would be too much, I think, to build Louvre and Suez. That could just be more than you can handle if it comes out quickly.
Yeah.
All right, the opponent takes knights. I see the military tactics as the one exception to my rule where I said only take what you're going to develop. Because if you get the tactic, you're going to need the technology to fit it. So it kind of be opportunistic there.
Yeah. So what do we do here?
Ah,
Again, I don't mind holding Columbus one
I'm
more turn.
interesting.
I don't have a leader to take. I can still get a pop out. I'm not getting down to my yellow bank yet. I think I can put wealthy in and push one of these out. Maybe I can get rid of some of these colonization cards.
Yeah, yeah. It's an important technique to know. If you don't have to use Columbus, keeping him increases your chances of landing a really nice fish like autonomous territory with him.
Okay, so strategic comes out.
That is perfect. Lets you use those colony cards instead of discarding them.
I wonder how many I'll actually get to use though. All of them.
Oh,
Wow.
all 7.
He has a lot of cards in hand too.
This is going to be a
I'm
fight to get any more colonies out of this guy.
he left navigation on 3. I wonder if he'll try to take it.
Hmm.
That was weird alignment on those cards. Why did it do that?
Yeah, it may not
We
be
have a nice
safe.
tactic here. That's good.
He's not going to let you have any more colonies easily.
I don't
All
think so.
right, Himeji is in. Great strength, great flexibility.
All right, I guess that's the turn. What am I missing? Justice
Well,
system.
we've got
Uh,
defensive army there in hand, so the swordsman could give you flexibility.
yeah, you're not wrong.
One move left. Upgrade the
Yeah, I have to
farm. Block the
corruption
navigation.
or
Corrupt. You could also
yeah.
keep engineering genius in hand just to avoid corruption. Doesn't
I
feel
mean, yeah, you're
great,
not
but
wrong.
um,
I'm probably gonna have another wonder, I suppose.
now I'm talking you into it. I hate it when Rifleman
Yeah,
comes out, the opponent takes it, and I just have nothing.
I mean, it's probably worth it given that we have the tactic.
I need to stop giving
I
advice,
have to
or
get rid
I want some rating points if you win. That's what I want.
of
Of course,
All
I
right.
could just go into the database and increase my rating, so maybe I shouldn't say that so loud. TTA Pulse ratings are kept separately from the Through the Ages ranks that are inside the app, so that's actually a separate platform, and I'm in charge of it. So, all right, we got
All right.
rats.
Well,
All the
that's.
food that was major, but I think it hurts him a lot more. It's hard for him to get more. What do you think?
I mean, he has irrigation in hand, 3 farms in Machu Picchu, so
Oh, I missed Machu Picchu. Yeah, never
he's
mind.
not going to struggle too much.
That's true. Both of you guys have decent food production there. Oh,
He's not afraid to take the Louvre. Yeah, in
oh.
his situation, I would probably not be afraid to take the Louvre. So strategies here.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to say anything, but I've got something in
Um,
my mind that I'll say after you move. Let you come up with your own plans. It's too bad you didn't draw another vast territory, though.
yeah. All right. So what do we have? Revolution idea breakthrough. Nice team sports because we may need to deal with happy faces, but we have an extra token here. We have Cook has come out, and that's part of my plan. So maybe I take him. Strategy's out, and I have some science. So that's pretty good.
Did he let
And
navigation
then,
fall off the table?
great question. He did, yes.
Perfect.
So I think I do this. Take Cook. I, do I elect him? Take strategy. I don't know if I need that warrior. Get swordsman later. I don't mind this. We're missing breakthrough. Selective breeding's not that important to either of us.
Yeah, nobody wants that. It's weird how sometimes that's so
Opera's
critical.
not the most important tech in this game. And then we're up here. So I could take rifleman away, but I don't think that's too expensive now. I mean, this feels pretty good. I'm using a military action here when I don't need to. So I would consider not doing that. Makes me strongest on my turn if he doesn't get strongest, which he may not. Uh, I'm I'm not going to build it.
Yeah, those draws are very, very useful. So having that
I
extra
mean,
red
I
action with the
have, and I already have a nice tactic. What else do I want to get out of
oh,
H2?
colonies, man. You want autonomous territory. You want vast too.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
So the rifleman was staring at me up there. It is so expensive to take, but his military is wrecked without it. So I'm glad to see it fell to the sixth position just so he can sweat over it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I think you could. I mean, would you take rifleman away from him
it's so expensive,
over
like you said.
over? Yeah,
So
it was a tough call.
it is, I mean, it is very decisive to take it. I mean, if he doesn't take it now, I think that's a big mistake because three age A warriors, and you're the guy who drew whatever that horse cannon tactic is.
Right.
Medieval mechanized something. Anyway, that tech, you don't have to put that on the table, which means he might struggle with the tactic.
Yeah, and having this, I don't mind if he takes rifleman as much.
Exactly. You can wait for him to go
He
one
can invest
direction.
into that a bunch and
And
build
then
us
you can,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever he does is the wrong thing. You just go the other way better than he does.
So do I spend 4 on Suez here?
Hmm.
That's going to be the question coming up.
Yeah, but would he block it if you didn't? That would be even more
That would be
expensive.
quite that would be quite a hate pick for him.
It
Yeah.
would. I mean, it's bad enough to hate pick a technology, but you hate pick a wonder that you can't even build? I mean, he has no colonies, so it might be a very bad wonder for him to build. That's a big knowledge of the ancients, all these wonders on the table.
If he's holding autonomous or something, you could consider taking Suez because you get that territory and you're taking it away from me.
Yeah.
Could become worth it.
Yeah, I have built Suez Canal with no colonies just because I love autonomous, but it's situational. It needs to be pretty early in H2.
So I can keep Suez around,
Yeah, it is position 7
but I
there.
wouldn't. If I don't take a cavalryman, he can take it away from me.
True. With knights though, cavalryman's less important.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So this cannon, I should take that.
That's the first cannonball,
Um,
I think.
yeah. These two age 1 events, I am stronger. So
Yeah,
freedom of movement.
he's gone into Newton.
Am I gonna stay stronger? I might.
Freedom of movement is a great combination with that horse
Oh,
cannon.
nice.
Oh, that is decisive. Rebellion can really hurt. Unlucky for him, he put that thing in and then got hit by it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll call it luck.
Hmm.
It's your great play that gave him an unhappy worker, of course. Like I was saying, freedom of movement with the what is that horse cannon tactic called? It's slipping my mind right now.
Mobile artillery.
Mobile artillery, because you move whatever warrior you have into that tactic. It's just a great combination.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to get out of corruption here.
You're too good. You just load it up on rocks. More and more strength. Eventually, he has to worry about getting attacked.
Seems fine to me.
Yeah, I talked up defensive
Well, no,
army. Go.
I made Suez fall off. I don't want that to happen.
Oops. Good catch.
So here it stays on. I like the food here, but engineering genius is great too. It helped me finish Suez.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You have plenty of rocks.
Yeah, it seems fine.
Plenty of
I
rocks
have an
can.
aggression, so we'll see what happens.
That's right. He may need to defend there. It can feel silly when you have way too many rocks, but it is great sometimes. You have a little corruption, that's okay, but 20 rocks can be pretty useful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now he has to decide if he wants to put the rest of his game into building the Suez Canal.
Yeah,
Actually,
he can't
he
either now
can't.
because he didn't finish
Rebellion.
Louvre.
Yeah, he wasn't even close. I think he should have finished Louvre last turn. I
Yeah.
see he got into the science, which is useful, but that's going to limit his options
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
you're.
maybe he just had. I mean, he had Newton for
Yep.
the lab, and maybe he just has nothing in his hand that would make it worth getting Suez here.
Yeah, yeah, and the lab is very useful with Newton. He goes from silly to pretty strong once you upgrade that lab.
So will he take that cannon for 2? I wonder. Nope.
Constitutional monarchy. I'm shocked by that move because we're almost to H3. What do you think?
I think it was probably a fine move.
Hmm.
I mean, he needs it.
Yeah, he's ready to get into it, solve a lot of civil and military issues. There's the second cannon.
I could consider attacking him.
You could take that cannon that's at the top of the board, and he
I
has.
know. Thinking about it.
Oh, it's
Let's
so
put
annoying.
politics of strength in.
All right, strength related. Zizka is long gone. The game is changing.
Hooray. All right. I don't know what I want yet. Let's see. 3, 2, maybe a food. I think I need to get Suez, so I can't take that cannon though.
Yeah.
But I definitely have to take this one, or else he, I mean, would take that away. That's not worth it. So scientific method. There were lab leaders here, so it could be worth grabbing the scientific method.
Yeah,
And
probably.
just deal with a lot of corruption.
Like I said, have that rock laying around. Yeah, the scientific method is the kind of card you'll take, and then computers comes out, so you never use it. But just in case it doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's probably worth it. I need the cannon. I need scientific method. I just got Foray, so that's probably fine. I'm gonna get two pop next turn. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get them both though.
Yeah, you want to build that whole wonder
Yeah,
as
except
well.
if so I won't be able to do that. So maybe I'll just get all the rocks since I have all this corruption. And there's nothing I can do.
That's such a funny foray because usually that's a very powerful card. Yes, 3 rocks. I can really invest this. In this game, it's like, okay, I'm just going to lose 4 to corruption and gain 3. Perfect.
Yep.
It's sad that I talked up the swordsman and then the defensive just disappeared, but you did not have that mobile artillery in hand when I was doing it, in my defense.
That's true. So Republic is out and we have strategy. Could be interesting, although it is the end of H2, so probably, and it's going to be in a weird spot, so we're not going to be able to take it this turn, but maybe.
Yeah, I love those H2 governments. Both Republic and Constitutional Monarchy can be so powerful. But when you're already in Monarchy, you just feel silly changing again.
Yep.
I
I
have,
really, I almost always tend to not do an H2. It's rare that I do an H2 if I have an H1.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Typically what I'll
really,
do.
it's rare that I do. It's rare that I ever do 2 packs in a row. Like if I have an H1, I rarely get the H2.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Tell me how ridiculous you think this is. What I like to do is take monarchy, go in, just like you did here. And then in H2, take all the governments so the guy's still in despotism.
Yeah.
Because there's only 2
certainly,
of them.
yeah. I mean, you find the weakness and you don't let them fix it. It's a
Yeah.
good strategy.
You know, I love 1 versus 1 games because you can watch your opponent, see what he needs. In 4-player, there's just too much going on. You can't think about your opponents as much.
Yep.
Unless they're all declaring war against you, which is what happens to me.
All right, so probably going to play an event.
There's another territory.
He'll probably win that because we don't have any card. We have one, and or maybe he had to get rid of his age one cards.
Yeah, you've got a colonization card, you've got 2 from cartography, and you've got James Cook. That's 6 before you send anything home.
Yeah, probably Cold War, I think.
That is a big card.
Maybe immigration. He's going to fix that with organized religion, though.
Yeah, yours might not get
It's going to
fixed
be a
though.
lot of. We're already committed to the strength play here, so let's keep it going with
Let's go
this.
Cold War. You know, I mentioned Uncertain Borders, I think is the biggest card in Age 1. Ooh. I think Cold War is the biggest in Age 2, but terrorism coming out to prove me wrong. That card is obnoxious.
It is. I don't have anything worth destroying really at this point, though, so
Yeah.
it's not going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah, I think that's the strategy of the
Luckily.
United States with its economic meltdown and coronavirus. There's nothing worth destroying. Ha! It does mean something,
uh,
though. Have all Age 1 cards. Age A. All Age A urban buildings here. The timing is strange because the terrorism doesn't really
of
hit till his turn because it's the digital rules. So now you can't build
yeah,
anything
yeah.
urban or he'll just destroy it immediately afterward. That doesn't
Yep.
happen in the tabletop version. The terrorism hits immediately, no matter whose turn it is. So then if it happened on your turn, you can then go rebuild on your turn. So terrorism is one of those few cards that has a big, big change between tabletop and digital rules.
I'm going to take the reserves here. Yeah, like for now, I know to not do scientific method, right? Because he's just going to destroy it.
He'll just destroy it. He'll watch it get constructed, and then he'll just terrorize it. You got
Yeah,
40,
this.
40 seconds there.
That we're not playing that event.
Mm. Well, when I do that, I'm like, this
I
card
just
will never
I
happen.
just talked about one of my favorite events,
Your
popularization
favorite
of
event, you
science,
just
and I got
throw it
rid of it.
away.
Oh,
The thing is,
and
now
I
that,
got iconoclasm.
oh, perfect, your other favorite. Now that you've thrown
Oh,
that
my favorite
away, you know you're going to have 15 science rating.
event.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
There's this weird seesaw effect where, you know, you're weaker and then you're too weak, so you have to get stronger. And then you're stronger. So if you react to whatever you're doing now, you're always behind. It's always backwards. It's very difficult to
Yeah,
predict that
that's
stuff.
right. That is absolutely right. So let's see if he takes cannon here.
Yeah, he does not know you have the mobile artillery unless he's
So
watching
he
the
doesn't.
stream.
He'll have to also get tanks. He doesn't have a cavalry tactic or tech out.
Yeah, he definitely needs one more technology to make a decent tactic. So probably cannon. There's only one defensive army in the 2-player game. So he's going to not have a tactic that works with cannon and rifleman unless he gets that positional army. There's only one of those in the Age 3 deck. Age 3 actually has a
Yeah,
lot of duplicate tactics. You know, there's 2 modern army, but positional army only 1. So it's a
that's
long
a great
shot
point.
to try to pick that
I
up.
had 3 of the 4 H2 artillery tactics. So if he has Napoleonic, I mean that's not going to be very easy for him to get into.
No, he has
So
to have
there's
that
not.
tanks
I
card.
mean, yeah, you'd think there's not a lot of. He doesn't have a good use for cannon now, so he'd be speculating a little bit.
Yeah, based on how he let those horses go by, I don't think he's been holding Napoleonic then. He would have had to just drawn it. This is
So we
looking
have 2
this
infiltrates.
is looking
Interesting.
tough for him in a lot of ways. I mean, your rock production is amazing, but like we've been talking about, I think it's hard for him to get a solid military base. That could come back to bite him.
Okay, just take all the cards.
Load up on everything. Now that we're in Age 3, you know what I like? Age 2 cards. Seriously, though, during those transitions, it's difficult to find what to do. You don't really want to take technologies when they're about to get replaced by better ones. So yellow card's a great way to go. Those are useful all the time, unless they're AJ patriotism.
So I'm definitely not putting iconoclasm in. Um, arms industry is fine-ish. Freedom of movement. I guess it's good to know that it's going to happen. So we'll put that in.
Yeah, I love freedom of movement actually because of that warrior, like I mentioned. It's very convenient to turn that into a cannon, mobile artillery, etc. Oh,
Yeah.
colony. This is beautiful.
Oh, how much do we spend on this? I mean, sending just one warrior would be pretty great.
That would be. Well, my rule of thumb is send the biggest thing. Hopefully you win it for less. The digital rules mean you don't have to pay what you bid, and then you just send your smaller thing. But
I think I'll go to 9 here.
do you need that many rocks, man? You have 24 rocks, 10 every turn. Oh, it's not enough. He needs the
I
rocks
mean,
more than you do.
it gives me a culture and another rock the rest of the game. Also, it's culture for now. Oh, nice! Wow, that was expensive.
Wow, I think that was worthwhile bidding him up. So I was,
Yeah, for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
I should have been praising you
See,
for
so
bidding so
here
much.
I'm tempted to get into Republic a little bit, if I'm being honest, because it's sitting here,
Yeah.
and he can just start denying me H3 governments.
Mm, interesting. Right after saying you never go from 1 to 2, you're about to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So then there, let's see, architecture. It's right here too. I like that.
Yeah.
But let's see, what else do we do? So we can get into science now.
This is perfect. There's computers at the top of the board though. That'd be even better. I see your mouse hovering over the cannon. Hopefully while you contemplate the computers.
That is what I was contemplating. Yeah. So
Personally,
now the question: do I put the tactic out now
yeah. Or do you hate draft
or
tanks and then
wait?
do it?
Yeah, exactly. And I have exactly 3 actions, so I think I wait.
I think you put it out there and you
What?
start aggressing the guy. If only you had spy and plunder. Although
Yeah,
plunder's not too powerful here, there are some good aggressions. I don't know. It looks like you have 2 infiltrates.
this is
So
enough pressure, I think. Here,
you don't need
he
the
can't
extra.
defend that. I don't think so. I like to keep him secret extra long, so I am not getting architecture if I do
Hmm.
this.
With
How
10
much
rocks a
do I care
turn,
about that?
does that matter?
It saves actions later. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter as much. Kremlin, no, no. Republic. That's going to become a problem. And I am fixing science, so if I go back, let's see. So
How do you not put computers in? That looks like the best move to me.
really, I don't want to pay 3 for it. That's the problem.
I mean, you've got the same
I mean,
science
I guess we
income
could wait.
with one
We
computers.
could wait for
No,
it.
pull it for 3. Put it in. This is a tandem game, okay, guys? This is my game.
Just that. You
Just
think?
that is just as much science as both scientific methods.
Yeah.
5+1 versus
I'm
three
not
plus
getting
three, and you've got Gates out there.
anything
You've
else.
got who's out? Sid Meier's out there. Computers is perfect for that.
Interesting. Okay.
Of course,
I'll consider that for a
19
sec.
strength is nothing to scoff at. Newton had better start sweating with those double infiltrates. It's not easy to choose. The Republic is nice too. You have strategy.
No, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do this.
Well, that's good. After all, it is your game. But for the record,
I'm
I
gonna do
like the
that.
computers.
Let's see what happens. Uh, so I'm gonna get rid of that one and that one.
Keeping
Because I like
fortifications.
iconoclasm. It might be fun. Although I do want to I want an event I can play. So we'll get rid of that too.
Hmm. Keeping both infiltrates and the fortifications. Oh, a tactic that goes great with those tanks. That's going to
Yeah.
be contested card now. Computer's still on 3. Both of you are in scientific methods, so it doesn't matter as much now.
Yeah. Do you have chat going right now?
I
Is anybody
do. The
chatting?
chat says I consider HT1 to be the most powerful Age 1 event. And I've been spending all this time trying to figure out what HT stands for. It's like the Hanging Tardens. Help me out here.
Is the most impactful what?
Age 1 event.
Historic territory?
Okay. Okay, he's got to be joking.
He must be.
I didn't even know that had an acronym. We
Uh,
don't talk about historic territory, so HT doesn't mean anything. So for
that's
those
funny.
of you watching live right now, I want you to tell us whether you like that scientific method play that we saw or the computers. Let us know in the chat
Yeah,
because
I'm really curious
we
too.
disagreed on that. We did get a comment confirming it is historic territory, the most impactful. It impacts the game by not coming out, I think.
Yeah, it impacts the game by making it so you couldn't draw a different card.
There should be an event that just says you can't use this. Uh, that would be great. Yeah, they do agree. It must be a joke. All right, let's talk happy faces for a moment because Pro Sports is the last big happy face card. Are you going to let that go by? What do you think?
uh, not if I can help it. Yeah, I don't have a good answer otherwise. Build a bunch of movies,
Yeah,
I
a bunch
guess.
of movies. Now, you do have a ton of rocks. If only that architecture was there, you would really be set. And so, movies is a decent alternative. Sitting at 9 science, you can't quite get into movies right now. Oh, he's going for defensive. Without the defensive, there's positional. And of course, he doesn't
Think he
have.
has it, or is that a bluff?
Well, he's just getting ready for something. I mean, he needs the tanks. If he
All
gets
right,
tanks, right, it's
so
good preparation.
uh, impact of culture. I think I'll put immigration in. Let's see what we
You can
can.
see everything here. I'd love to see freedom of movement. That's good too.
We got the war and the raid, and Gates.
Gates is there. We just got a comment saying CGE is live streaming their Gen Con. It's going on right now, live.
Oh
And
yeah,
we have the
yeah,
same number of viewers watching this stream live that they had on their stream. So that's some kind of
nice.
milestone. Now, to be fair, they're painting miniatures on their stream, so I don't know which one's more exciting. Both of these is somewhat similar to watching paint dry, so I don't know. But hey, we're as exciting as painting right now.
So I mean, Gates is interesting, but I have a lot of rocks, and I don't want to replace Cook right now.
Yeah, that is tough. Usually Gates is so strong, but hey, you didn't take the computers. How strong is Gates for your opponent here?
Relatively.
Yeah, can't have too many rocks.
I mean, it cuts the science production down, which isn't great. So yeah, I don't know what I want to do this turn. If I'm being honest.
If you had one more science, then I could probably talk you into movies.
Yeah. Uh,
Computers.
Take that
You
computers
should
away
be
from him.
embarrassed putting scientific method
I
out. I mean,
almost didn't do scientific method last time. I almost didn't do it last time, so I could do computers this time, but I didn't do it.
yeah, yeah, because he's on scientific method. So upgrading just one
Yeah.
age is not a big effect.
Efficient upgrade. I don't know.
Yeah, what are you going to be upgrading here? Only computers. Let's be honest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sid Meier plus computers can be a lot of culture, also.
All right. So I have one action. I don't know. Like efficient upgrade.
Efficient upgrade will efficiently upgrade something sometime. Age 5, maybe.
And then I need to get rid of a lot of these cards. Happiness, I don't think is going to happen. That one, armed intervention. This tactic I don't need. How many? 7 cards. War I want. We can get rid of the raid, I suppose. Architecture could happen. One of these infiltrates. How many more? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think you were speaking the truth when you said happiness is not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's one for the quotes, quote book, history books, the quote histories. Oh, impact of culture gone. I like that card
Yeah,
just
I
as
don't know. It was culture or architecture. I'm in the first spot, so culture's a little bit harder. So
yeah, yeah, very true.
I went with that one.
There's democracy. You are once again plagued by having one science shy, but this time with revolutionary idea, you can
Cold
jump right
War.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Never mind about that idea. We got democracy. I think that's going to be pretty useful. It's interesting you've held your tactics so long. I want to highlight this, especially for those of you guys who are new to 2-player. You've been playing a lot of 3-4-player. You want to get your feet wet with TTA Pulse. This game, by the way, is played live, ttapulse.com, where you can go find your own Super Blitz matches. 2-player games, the tactic has a big effect on the game because you don't have 4 players throwing their tactics in that you can copy. So what Allmrak is doing here by holding his tactic keeps its opponent from getting the right tactic, and unless tanks come out for it. So this is a common tactic. This tactic is a common tactic and something you should keep in mind. Don't just play your tactic because it's the right fit. Sometimes you hold it, play it at the right moment to surprise the opponent. All right, what did we miss?
He took Gates.
He took Gates. Oh, I wish I'd missed that for longer.
So we could put tech in or architecture in.
Oh yeah, 22 science now. That turned around fast.
I can, like, what does a war look like? Just curious.
We got Himeji to bump that up a little more.
Oh, can't do that. Let's do this.
Air
I guess I
forces.
could do. Yeah, probably wait
Yeah.
for that to happen.
The
Yeah, so
war
this
is
is not
the war is
probably gonna
strong if
happen.
you drop air forces.
Yeah.
You got 5 military actions,
So
3 on the war, 1 to play the tactic. That's the downside to my monologue there is it does take an extra MA when you want to use it. And then 1 air forces. Be great if that could be 2 air forces, but I guess I have to criticize what I just praised.
do you think he
42.
has positional? Or is he just prepared for it?
He's prepared for tanks, man. He needs of course tanks is gonna come out and he's gonna crush us.
If he has
If tanks comes
what is
out.
positional worth? 12. So he gets 11. So he can get into the 30s maybe, but that would be about it, right?
Well, if tanks comes out and he has modern army, or if Air Forces comes out and he has positional, then we're toast. I mean, he doubles the positional army for 24 strength. Yeah, the safe thing to do when your position is good is don't declare war. I've made that mistake before. Just sit tight. I had one game recently where I was thinking about war, and then he declares war on me. I win the war, and then he does it again. I won 2 wars and barely won the game. So don't declare war if you don't have to. Air Forces. Kind of playing the quiet game. This is so typical and through the ages. You look at all these violent moves, and then you just play quietly. And
And we're gonna
that's
run out of time.
Allmrak's playing quietly right now. 90 seconds on the clock, 21 cards in deck. This is tough. All right, throwing away that tactic. Unfortunate. I wanted to see tanks come out for you. And is it here right now? 5 cards come out, no tanks. So some of you guys did not join this game from the start. You might be a little off the picture. Let's leave that slide out open for a bit there, Almarak. Let's take a look at the positions here of the 2 players.
Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to find it.
How do you feel about your position in the game right now with about 20 cards left in the game?
It's a bit of a race, I think now. I just have to stay ahead. I'm a little nervous about staying ahead, but hopefully we're close enough to the end of the game that it won't be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, 50
we'll,
culture,
we'll
big
see.
lead. You have equal culture ratings there, and you just got a democracy. That helps a lot.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I feel good. I don't have to worry about military for the rest of the game. So he's not going to do it that way. I don't know how else he would catch up really at this point. I didn't get a wonder. I was worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
He just got space flight. I don't know if there's a wonder left. I'm also worried about my time.
Yeah,
I
90
don't have a
seconds.
lot of time.
It's easy to blunder or just run out of time when you got 90 seconds for
So
the game here.
Hollywood is the only one left.
Yeah, that one's probably not too
Um,
useful here.
progress. I don't mind that. Or tech or the
Halfway,
war.
halfway onto the screen there. Can't quite play
And
it.
what are we getting? We're getting freedom of movement finally. I just have to probably do one here.
Yeah, either one probably works, I guess.
Yeah, we're in about the same position. Other progress.
And freedom of movement. I don't think this gives you more time on your clock, despite the huge decision. But like I've been praising several times here, the move from warrior to knights or cannon, so smooth.
Yeah.
And your strength just jumps up. Here come the air forces.
No.
Here come the
Sorry.
movies. Yeah, it's air forces or movies, and the movies is a lot more culture. That's probably 12 culture each time you build one. And did you put impact of architecture in the game? Because
Yeah, I did.
that's another 4, another 3, another 6 for those two movies. This is huge.
So
I
we could
think
do.
you're
We could
pulling
wait for
ahead.
Fleming and Hollywood, or yeah, I'll probably do that. And maybe take this for the Hollywood.
Nice. Very greedy to let the
We probably
military
don't need
build up.
two wars at this point. Yeah,
Probably don't
it's
need
gonna
any.
fall off, and I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's
Oh,
probably
just calculated
safer.
it. Yeah, it's very greedy to let that go
I did.
because that's
I
big
did. I at
insurance.
first. I didn't. I tend to underestimate the possibility of wars at the end of two-player games.
Hmm.
So it's probably a good idea to have it just in case.
Yeah, I hate declaring war against people with that card because they're definitely going to be weaker on their turn. Otherwise, the war was maybe a bad idea. And so that's
Yeah.
plus 9 rocks. It's obnoxious. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, great insurance. Going for the engineering genius really helps build that Hollywood, but you don't need the Hollywood to win. That's why I was calling it greedy. You're greedy for those culture
Yeah,
points,
you're
but
right.
at the risk of losing to the war. Now, I don't think it's a big risk. I think you're okay on war, but it's the safer play.
Both of us have units out that fit a tactic, but we're both on fighting band, which is an interesting dynamic. Neither one of us knows if the other one actually has it or not.
Yeah, now you've played a lot of
Although
Super
he built,
Blitz. Does this happen a lot where nobody wants to show their tactic?
uh, I don't know. It's fun. It's one of those interesting bluffing aspects of the game.
Hmm. Yeah, in this case, he may be bluffing because he doesn't have any tactic. But there's tanks.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
he can patch it up with the tanks.
He's low on military actions, so he'd have to maybe get fundamentalism at the same time.
Yeah, not enough science for both,
No.
even with the
He
revolutionary
is holding
idea.
two patriotisms in professional sports also. So there is potential for him to try something. I mean, maybe it's a semi-legitimate tactic. Like, if he does a war, I have to figure out the best way to defend, and I don't have a lot of time left.
Yeah, I
So
think
there
with that
is.
military buildup, you just build a whole bunch of stuff. We got a comment in the chat
Yeah,
from one of the
yeah,
best, Coop, if I'm pronouncing it right. He's a great Through the Ages
yeah.
player. He's saying play that tactic before it expires. I think your next turn is your last for doing that.
Yep,
But I don't
that's
think
right.
he can wipe out the card row with 10 cards worth right now. Luckily, otherwise he may actually be able to make you discard it.
Well, hey, Yacoop, also hi. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, I see a lot of familiar faces from the DJ Parsons streams. For those of you guys watching this, have not seen any Through the Ages streamed before, definitely check out a couple of great channels. We've got PlayTTA. The guy who I have right now, Allmrak, who's on the show, is the operator of PlayTTA. He's got some great content. Just look it up. It's on YouTube and Twitch. And then DJ Parson mentioned several times. He streams several times a week on a schedule. Great stream. And then this channel, TTA Pulse. If you have not subscribed yet, be sure to do that so you get notifications when we stream. We don't have a schedule, so that's all the more reason to subscribe so you actually know when we're doing something. And meanwhile, Weidenbaum playing his second to last move, probably.
I think I moved my screen a little bit. Sorry about that.
That's no problem. I can
Hopefully,
just
I moved it back to where it was.
I don't I have the controls here. You did not actually. It's pretty hard to do something when you
Okay,
can't
good.
see, but I can just shrink that and move that. You've chopped off your cannons, but it
I
happens.
need those.
Yeah, I need those cannons. Yeah, it happens to me all the time. I wake up in the morning, my cannons are chopped off, whatever.
So he's really thinking this turn.
Yeah, well, he's probably thinking about resigning, to be honest.
Well, I guess freedom of movement came out, so he could be trying to piece together a hybrid war or something. Tanks.
If only
Yeah,
he
I don't
had
have a
that
lot of happy
tanks.
faces, so
Yeah, I feel like
could be a
that
thing.
tanks card was so important for him. If he got it early, he'd be fixed, maybe could attack. If you got it early, you'd know he was, eh, well, depending on positional. How do you feel about that? Do you think that this game pivoted around that card or not?
I mean, certainly, yeah. I think if tanks came out earlier, the game could have looked a lot
Hmm.
different, and depending on who got the tanks card, it would have made a big difference for
Yeah.
sure.
Military theory also, because he's on 4 military actions. If he had that in
Yep,
play, he could declare
totally.
war much more flexibly, giving 3 additional red actions right when you need it. So he's going to pick up 14 at least. Culture here, putting him at 89, 87. That is still 43 points. They say don't do math on stream, and the reason is you'll do it wrong. Plus, no one's going to follow you anyway. But I'm looking at 43 culture lead. So if you can build Hollywood, wow. I mean, that's going to keep up with his wonder. That's a very solid advantage.
Yeah.
Can you build Hollywood? You think you've got the actions for it?
Um, can I build it, or can he? What was the question?
Can you build Hollywood? Doesn't look too hard, but
Um,
looks like that's the key to victory
I think
here.
so. One of the keys. I mean, I think we'll have 2 turns, so it should be possible.
One thing he could do is build his wonder now, I say, as he doesn't. If he built it now, he'd have a chance of taking Hollywood away also. I think he's lost that chance. With architecture, though, maybe not. Yeah, he could take it away next turn. That could bring the game pretty close.
We can put impact of tech in probably, although yeah, I think that's fine-ish.
Fine-ish. That describes a
Progress
lot of
is
moves.
yeah, it's fine-ish.
Architecture. Ah, that's
I think
pretty
we're
good
pretty
timing.
close. Yeah.
That's pretty good timing for that. If you're within 3, you could at least not feel bad that you seeded something so stupid.
I think I take this away.
Ah, and more insurance. Plus progress in the deck still.
He has a patriotism, so he has an extra military action. Although he actually used that last turn. That's kind of interesting. He used it to get 5 military actions.
Yeah, and he built the rifleman also. So he is thinking about strength.
Yeah, he needs 3 more. Yeah. You could take Churchill just as a little extra insurance.
Yeah, it's an insurance game now. What a thrill. Don't you love insurance? Sid Meier, the greedy play. Churchill, the safe play. I mean, he gives you 3 if you don't use him, so it's good all around leader. Yeah, loading up on those insurance cards. This does mean, I think, no Hollywood, because you're going to pull that out of the deck. He's going to finish his wonder and steal it all at once. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe not. I don't know if he has enough CA for that. We have a comment in the chat. Very important message. Thank you, Daniel Davis, for letting us know. He says, play that tactic or die. I added the or die part. Yeah, you let that go. We will all be very embarrassed. I will be because as the host of the show, I should have mentioned it. Oh, but
Oh,
he didn't
there's
do
that
that job.
positional army right there.
There's the positional army. Now that he got the tanks, we can say, oh, yes, he really needs those tanks. Oh, wait, he has them.
Well, and electing Churchill would have been a good idea too.
Well, you did
For some
get
reason,
how
I
much
wanted to
culture?
keep I wanted the extra 3 culture from Cook, but it
Yep.
probably wasn't worth not electing him, really.
Well, it depends if you need civil actions in this final turn. There is one more turn
Yeah.
for you in this game. You have what, 7, 8, 9 civil actions? So maybe you've got an extra one to throw Churchill in there. It doesn't matter. You want to give a click on that clock there? Clock clicker? 48 seconds, but it's resetting now. H4 has its own bank.
Yes, it will reset.
That was close. By the way, I want to go back in time a little bit. We were debating. There's the impact of industry. Ironic that it's so low considering
Yeah,
you guys are
isn't that
swimming in
fun? Like
rocks. That
10
is
and
because
12, and we each get 6.
Suez Canal and Bill Gates do not count toward the impact of industry for those of you confused out there. So earlier we talked about scientific method, put it in play right now, or computers coming down from the top of the card row. And we had 100% votes on computers from the chat, just like to let you know. 100%
Interesting.
of respondents said computers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I did computers and put it in play, I couldn't get my military up. I had a whole deck. Well, 3 of 4 cards right here were strength. And so it felt also important to have the actions left to put these out. I think what I would have considered in that move, I don't think I would have taken I might have taken computers but not developed it yet,
Yeah.
or not taken it because he already had scientific method and just not gotten my scientific method going yet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good compromise.
But
Take computers
it's
and don't
interesting.
use
I'm
it.
I'm against everybody. So I mean,
Well, you're also winning, in my opinion. So that actions speak louder than words. How's your last impact there? You've got impact of population. Is that a good card?
yeah, it looks pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, like I was saying, if it's not -3, that's a fair card because you gain 3 culture just from putting it in the deck. Every time you seed a card, you get culture based on its age. So you can seed events that are kind of bad for you, and then as long as they're not too bad, turned out to be okay.
Hmm.
So he
In
cannot
progress.
steal Hollywood. I was wrong.
Uh,
Look at all those white dots.
yeah, I know. Close, and it came out very last, which
The,
was helpful.
yeah, that's a thing. What Through the Ages does is it figures out what you need, and then it puts it on the bottom of the deck. Oh, this guy's ready for architecture now that architecture has already gone by.
Yeah.
There's the tactic, modern army.
Almost stronger.
Yeah, 2 more turns here, and he's going to be ready to war. Just, just kidding, of
So
course.
I'm not going to do an aggression. And it was nice that Impact of Progress waited until I got civil service developed. Okay, that helps.
Nice.
We can finish this.
Yeah, that is huge. An extra 16 culture if my math is right.
It
It
is.
is. How unusual.
And I guess that's it. That's a turn. I just have a handful of cards.
Yeah, so it's funny to end with all those yellows, but building a wonder is a lot of culture. So there's 3
Yeah.
major impacts in this game because in 2-player, the guy who wins impact of science or impact of culture gains 10 and the other guy gets nothing, or the other way around. So it's really a 20-point swing depending on who wins impact of culture or impact of science or impact of strength. So always want to check those 3 specifically when you're ending your turn. Now you threw away culture. What are you thinking about the others?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Lose them both is what I'm
So
thinking.
normally I would go through those, right? So
Mhm.
science, we could make a run for it if we wanted to. We could also increase strength if we wanted to. Um, they're worth 10 points each. I think in this situation, uh, getting the wonder done is going to be worth more.
Yeah, yeah, very true.
So
It's
we'd
also
have
the
to
the safe
not do
play.
the, well, I mean, I suppose you could not take the wonder, right?
Yeah, then you can do a lot of things, but
He finishes it for 2, takes it for 5. So he can't finish it either. So we're not taking it away from him.
mhm.
So what's the alternative, right?
Well, I think it goes back
Yeah,
to insurance
it's
versus risk because you take the Hollywood in this point, in this specific instance, taking the culture is the safe play because you don't know if those impacts are in. And it's
right.
the other hand, they might be in his hand. So it's a lose lose. If you go for it, then he just won't play it.
Definitely when there's more time to think about things, it's worth going through these and finding where your biggest weaknesses are. Is there a particular event that they could make up ground on?
Mhm.
Um, in this game, it's timed. Hollywood gives 16 culture, which is a good bit.
Mhm.
The most you might save, I don't know, 20 something is the culture you could save if you adjust impacts, possibly. but we're also up by a lot, so I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
it's going to be in this particular situation worth it.
Yep, let's just
So
send it
yeah,
in.
science and strength. He could he can easily get strength and science. He's already winning.
Yeah,
So
first position's always tough because they can just move ahead on whichever one they are seeding. Do you like being first or second?
exactly. I actually like being second personally.
Interesting. A lot of people seem to prefer first. Second has that key advantage, like we talked about, being able to go last for those impacts. But first
Yeah,
has the edge at the start of the game where you're probably going to be stronger, all else being equal.
exactly. Yeah, I like to control the last turn at the end of the game.
Fascinating.
So variety came out.
Variety. So for those of you who want to be top through the ages players and dominate the TTA Pulse League, I recommend sitting down on a screen like this and figuring out all the impacts in your head. So you start on the left and you say, okay, impact of strength and impact of competition. That's everything here on the left. Then you move to the middle, the farms and the mines, impact of agriculture, impact of industry, impact of balance, impact of harmony, these things. And just figure out a system where you go through the whole screen and you know all the impacts. It might seem impossible right now to go through every impact in your head without even looking at the deck. But once you have that system in place, you can do this very quickly. Now, I'm not saying I can. I'm not here to brag. But if you want to be a top player, you need to be able to just go through all those impacts in your head because that's what the top players do. What do you think? Am I off my rocker?
Yeah, I think you, especially in a super blitz game, yes, you should be able to do that quickly and run through them, so you can do the tally. If you're in an async game, you have a little more time to look and consider it, but definitely in super blitz, you need to be able to do that. It almost becomes instinctual,
Yeah.
like you just sort of look through it and have a feel. I have a question for you.
Mhm.
So at the end of your turn, do you have a process that you go through to make sure you've checked everything? Do you have a
Well, I
particular
saw you
thing you
doing
do?
that this game. You were very, very wise, and you were about to hit end turn, and then you said, "Okay, opera is not a big deal." And you went through each card on the card row that was one CA and some of the two, and said, "Well, do I want this card?" Because I have this blindness where I just know that card is usually not good, and so I don't even think to consider it in this position where it might be good in this position. Silk Road does this to me because often Silk Road is not a great wonder, but sometimes it is, and I just don't even see Silk Road go by because I don't even like to use it. But sometimes it's great. So I think that's a great system. It's just take one last look at the card row.
So this game is closer than I like.
Yeah.
So he did put strength
He put
in,
strength
and
in, got stronger.
he is gonna get Bill Gates. So he might come back.
Oh,
Yeah, he did
no.
by 1 point.
No,
Fantastic.
no,
That was
no. All this
amazing. Such a
bragging
good
about how you're
finish.
winning and then ah,
Yeah, such a good finish. That was awesome.
wow. Oh, I feel like I just lost. Wow.
That was a really nice finish. That was really fun. 1 point. So I should
Uh,
have. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. So thinking about the impacts,
mhm,
um, I could have made it harder to win strength.
mhm.
Certainly could have speculated on that. That's a 20-point swing, whereas Hollywood's only 16.
Yeah, but if it was in
So
his
there was
hand, he could just
definitely could have just put 2 units here and made strength hard to get.
yeah.
It could have been worth considering.
If it was in his hand though. If strength was in his hand, he would just not seed it if he couldn't get stronger, and then it's just 10 less than Hollywood.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
true.
All right, so what did you think of the theme of this game? You saw the colonies, you went for the colonies. Any thoughts on this game?
Any thoughts on the game? I mean, I thought it went pretty well. Um,
Yeah, what was the key
the
moment?
colony plan,
'Cause-
the colony plan actually went like according to plan. I think.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Uh,
Everything went so well. So how did he catch
yeah,
up? What was the key moment where, he was in the game again?
yeah. What was the key moment?
Because I'm going to say,
Um,
and I've seen this in games that I've seen streamed before, I'm going to say it was Gates because he went from 6 rocks to a lot, and suddenly he had a lot of
sure.
flexibility.
Yeah, Gates certainly uh, helped there. I what did I do? I mean, I put the impacts in, which I think was the right move,
Mhm.
but potentially paying attention to them better. Like this last turn, I don't know. could have developed. Yeah, as an example, here's one thing right here that would have made the difference, right? So I elected Churchill.
Mhm.
He gave me 3 culture. Developing mechanized ag would have given me 4.
Oh, and you knew technology
And
was in there.
because we put tech in, so we would have tied, or no, I would have won then by 3 points. So like right there, just being a little more careful at the end certainly would have made a difference. I think so. So maybe the key thing, my biggest mistake, was thinking that it was not going to be close.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was really my
Yep. I mean,
mistake
that's
because at
exactly
the end of the
what
game go ahead.
oh, I was just to say, like, it's what Stodzy's saying in chat right now. Like, you probably should never let your guard down. And, he had 30 points from space flight. He had impacts that I could have looked at and seen that he was ahead on. So, to your point of running through the impacts and making sure um, that things looked good. So
Yeah.
certainly there,
Yeah,
that
so
was a
Stasi
problem.
in the chat, he says the moment you were thinking that you were ahead by 50, when you were really ahead by 20. That's
Yep,
when we let, and that's exactly what happened. At the very end of the game, I'm like, don't even worry,
exactly,
just
exactly.
build that wonder, hit end turn, we got this. I was basically pressuring you into the blunder, so it's my fault.
Hey, well, you helped along the way as well. So it
Well,
was it was a wash.
it was great. Well, thank you so much for joining. Any last words, Allmrak?
No, thank you. That was fun.
Oh,
Thank you, Weidenbaum, for the game.
yeah,
Unfortunately, you won, but maybe we'll play again
but it was
sometime
awesome. It was
on
close.
TTA Pulse.